Good morning, dear students. Today we are going to see the rest of the chapter. Chapter 3, A Horse and Two Gods by R.K. Narayan. Last day we were discussing about the experience that Muni had with the shopkeeper. Today we will see the rest of the chapter. It starts from page number 54 and the last paragraph. Muni has his credits at every shop in town, and today, when he asked a local shopman to give him the items his wife requires to cook the drumsticks, he is sent away humiliated. There is no other food in the house, so Muni's wife sent him away with the gods. Fast till the evening, she tells him, I will do you good. Muni takes the gods to their usual spot a few miles away, a grassy area near the highway, where he can sit in the shade of a life-sized statue of a horse and a warrior, and which trucks and buses go by. The statue is made of weather-beaten clay and has stood in the same spot for all of Muni's 70 or more years. Muni knew that it is good to obey his wife. She would somehow magically create some food for him in the evening. Only he must be careful not to argue and irritate her. She was sure to go out and work. She will go to the big house and do some works, and from there she will get enough things to make dinner. The shopkeeper said that our Muni is 70 or more than 70. At this age, what one person will do? He or she will pray to God to get forgiveness for all their lively sins. If our Muni dies, what his wife will do? They had lived in each other's company since they were children. On the day of Muni's wedding, somebody told him that he was 10 years old and she was 8. Here we want to discuss about different cultures and early marriage. In ancient times, child marriage was permitted. Our Muni and his wife was one among them. He married early and lived a long life. He came near that statue and he sat on the shades of that horse in order to protect himself from the sunlight. The advantage of this was that he could watch the highway and see the lorries and buses pass through the hills, and it gave him a sense of belonging to a large world. The horse was nearly life-size, molded out of clay, baked, burned, and brightly colored, and held his head up proudly, fencing its forelegs in the air and flourishing its tail in the loop. Beside the horse stood a warrior. This horse and warrior is very beautiful, but none of the villagers remembered about this statue. Muni sat at the foot of that statue. He was watching his two gods. He looked at the sun to understand whether it is evening or whether it is going to sunset. But he understood that it was not the time yet to go back home. If he went too early, his wife would have no food for him. And also, he must give her time to cool off her temper and feel sympathetic. Then only she will find out something to make dinner for him. As Muni watches the road and waits for the appropriate time for return home, a yellow station wagon came down the road and pulled over. It looked like both a motor car and a bus. Muni used to enjoy and observe all these scenes very carefully. After returning home, he will explain each and everything to his wife. The road, the people, those who passed him, the vehicles which passed him, the color of the vehicles, and what are the things that are happening around the road and in that highway. Today, while he observed the yellow vehicle coming down, he was wondering how he will describe it later to his wife. Meanwhile, a red-faced American man dressed in khaki clothes gets out and is asking Muni where to find the nearest gas station. He asked Muni, "Excuse me, is there a gas station nearby, or do I have to wait until another car comes?" That red-faced man suddenly noticed the clay horse and cried, Marvelous, without completing his sentence. Our Munni felt he should get up and run away. The red-faced man wore khaki clothes, evidently a policeman or a soldier. Munni said to himself, he will chase or shoot if he starts running. And he prayed in his heart to God Shiva for the protection. And he said to himself, I don't know why this man should be after me. Meanwhile, the foreigner cried again, marvelous, by nodding his head. Munni sat frozen for a while. Then he suddenly woke up and tried to edge away. Now the other man suddenly pressed his palms together, smiled, and said, Namaste, how do you do? But our Munni knows only two English words, yes, no. First he said, yes, no. After that, without having enough English vocabulary, he started to speak in Tamil. My name is Munni. These two gods are mine, and no one can gainsay it. Though our village is full of slanderers these days who will not hesitate to say that what belongs to a man does not belong to him. Munni was confused. In that frozen stage, he said whatever came to his mind. Meanwhile, the foreigner faithfully looked in the direction indicated by Munni's fingers. He gazed at the two gods, the rocks, and the beautiful horse statue. With a happy expression, he took out his silver cigarette case and lit a cigarette. Suddenly he asked Munni, do you smoke? Munni answered, yes, no. That time, the red-faced man took a cigarette and gave it to Munni. He received that cigarette with surprise, because he had no offers of a smoke from anyone for years now. They both started to speak in their own languages. We should not say it as a conversation, because neither understood the other. Our Munni knows only two English words, yes and no, and the American know only one Indian word, Namaste. Rest of the chapter we will see in the next class. Thank you.